Okay, this is our first little recorded lecture on human biology, and this covers some of the material in Chapter 1. It's not a complete covering of Chapter 1. You should still read the chapter. It's only going to cover some parts of it. There are some extra examples in here, and there might be a few extra terms, but mostly we're going to use terms that are in the book and are highlighted in the readings. Hopefully, what we're going to do is describe some of the properties of life, describe a little bit how science works, and the position of humans in biology, how the science of biology looks at humans. And so I have a picture there. That guy there, that's Albert Einstein, a scientific genius, although you wouldn't know it by looking at him. Okay, so what is biology? Biology is the science of life. It's the scientific study of living organisms. Those living organisms include plants, fungi, animals, one-celled animal-like organisms called protists, single-celled organisms that are not animal-like. Those include the archaea and bacteria. These are the major groups of living organisms. The eukarya, archaea, and the bacteria, these are the three domains, the three types of living organisms. And then the kingdoms include the plants, fungi, animals, and protists. Okay, we are just one out of many species in the whole part of life, and we fit in with the animals. And so biologists somehow study some type of living organisms. Well, what do we mean when we say things are alive? Well, living organisms have a wide variety of characteristics. Okay, they're highly ordered and regulated. The living organisms respond to their environment. They use energy, they grow, they develop, and over time, living organisms can change during the process of inheritance. These are characteristics of living organisms. In particular, the level of organization is something that's going to be important for us. Um, Organisms are highly organized. Okay, they are made out of matter, atoms. Those atoms are arranged very precisely into molecules and very, very large molecules called macromolecules. Those things are arranged to form organelles and then living cells. Your body contains trillions of living cells, and these are organized into tissues and organs. And together, organs and organ systems form the organism. We're going to talk about humans all the way from the molecules all the way up to organ systems. And then we're also going to talk about things that are beyond the organism level, things that are at the level of populations, a group of organisms, or the entire species, or the community of organisms that live in one type of habitat or ecosystem, and maybe some things that affect the entire Earth. So we're going to work at a bunch of different levels. We're going to start with some of the smallest levels, start with some chemistry. Okay. Whenever possible here, I'm also going to try and talk about science. Um, and, lots of us have some idea of what science is, and I really didn't understand about science till I got to college. Um, I had some thoughts about science because I thought scientists were kind of different from normal people, and they're not. But there are some special things about science that make it a really powerful way of learning and knowing about the world. Um, we often talk about the scientific method, where we have experiments and we do research and we collect data and things like that. And I'm not going to focus so much on the scientific method, although experimenting, collecting data, and kind of evaluating data are really important. But I'll talk about different types of evidence and why evidence is important. In science, we really sort out ideas by looking at evidence, and we look at all sorts of different types of evidence. And particularly new evidence is important, and the ideas that help predict new evidence and help explain evidence, those are the better ideas. And in science, we have a rule. It's like democracy. Everybody has to be able to see the evidence. We all vote, and we're supposed to vote on the evidence. Doesn't work every time, but overall science is pretty powerful, and we often correct our mistakes. Okay, so that's the main ideas I want to talk about, and then I want to talk a little bit about humans. And so again, what are humans? Are we part of biology, and where do we come from? And again, in science, we talk about evidence, that we look for the evidence that we can find, we examine it. And so, in the case of where do humans come from, we look for organisms that we share features with, whether they might be living or extinct. We check their anatomy, their behavior, their ecology, and their genetics. And so we can tell humans are related to certain groups of organisms. Okay, we're vertebrates. Okay, all vertebrates ingest food. They all have a unique tissue called muscle, and they have nervous systems, brains. Vertebrates are unique in that they contain an internal skeleton of bone, and in particular, they have a backbone made of vertebrae with an enclosed spinal cord. Vertebrates also have heads and with enclosing a brain and some sense organs. Okay, we're not that close related to many vertebrates, but we are closely related to ones that are called mammals. Okay, we are definitely mammals. We're warm-blooded like mammals are. We have hair, or some of us have hair. Others have hair in other places, but we have some hair. Okay, we give birth to live young and we nourish them with milk. We have specialized teeth, large brains, and flexible behavior. Okay, mammals are among the most complex of all animals and most successful of all animals. Among the mammals, we most closely resemble the primates. These are mammals that have grasping fingers and toes. They have binocular vision, color vision, and large brains. Most of them are tree dwellers. Okay, and so there's large numbers of them. Among the primates, the hominoids are the ones closest to us. We have hands, grasping hands with opposable thumbs, and unlike other primates, we have nails. Okay, hominoids like orangutans and chimpanzees and gorillas, they have fingernails, not claws. None of the hominoids have a tail. Among the primates, these guys have the largest brain, the most adaptable behavior, and are very social. Okay, they take a long time to develop. They have a long childhood, they mature slowly, and then they have a very long life. Our closest relatives are the chimpanzees and gorillas. Okay, their anatomy is most similar to ours. They're capable of learning language, sign language, or symbolic language on a computer. They can use tools. They don't even need us to use tools, and they can use weapons. And then genetics shows they're very similar to us. And so we are part of the living world. We are definitely part of the scope of biology. And so biologists study humans, and we're going to study humans. We're going to learn science and study humans at the same time. Okay, look at the forum, look at the online materials, the movie, and the chapter summaries or chapter study guide, and hopefully I'll see you through the Zoom meeting. Thanks.